didn't realize that like my white thighs should be peeking out.
Upset I should have worn shorts today.
I mean, that just would offer 2 opportunities for this to go poorly. All right, what's up, everybody? It's Yvonne with Trout's Fly Fishing. Here for 5 flies for October. I'm joined by fellow trout fly.
I think I'm a
fishing,
trouter.
A trouter. Fellow Trout's Fly Fishing employee, Brandon Rodriguez.
That's what we'll start calling our viewers.
The Trouters?
I think we should start calling them.
Let us know in the comments if you like the Trouters as names to call
What do you want to be called?
Right. God. The YouTube world, man, is a weird world. But if you guys want to be called Trouters, we'll call you Trouters. So anyway, Brandon's taking over the blog. If you've been paying attention to our blog, troutsflyfishing.com, Brandon's taking over the blog and he's been doing a good job with it. So Brandon, let's know a little bit about yourself. You know, what do you like to do?
First off, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, of course.
Hope to be back. But my name is Brandon Rodriguez. I've been taking over the blog for the past couple months and then for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, let's hope.
Originally from San Antonio, Texas, moved out to Colorado for school, and then just really found my spot here within the state. So excited to be here and excited to be on.
What's your favorite kind of fishing? What do you like to do?
I really like dry fly fishing.
Nice.
Over the years, I should say, it's kind of been something that I've practiced more of. I was originally like a big fan of streamers, but as I've grown into my age, as they say.
Yeah, you're so old.
Yeah.
The
ripe age of 23, almost 24.
Gray hairs.
I got a couple.
Yeah.
But no, dry fly fishing has kind of been my go-to as of recent. I don't know if it's here to stay, but
I would hope it's here to stay. Dry fly fishing, underrated. I feel like people like it. They like the idea of it, but like dedicating a day to throwing dry flies this time of year, you know, obviously hoppers are still gonna be around, but they're gonna fade off. People don't fish dry flies at all, like as their whole day, nearly enough, in my opinion.
100%. And that's definitely what I've started to do. Like nymphs obviously work. Like you can yell at me in the comments to fish nymphs, you'll catch more fish. But it's like the act of watching a fish eat a dry fly. It just does something to the brain.
I was at South Point a couple of weeks ago, and I was going to throw nymphs to start today, and then I saw one riser, and I didn't put a nymph on the rest of the day.
It only takes one.
Yeah, I didn't put a nymph on the rest of the day, and caught plenty of fish. Well, I missed plenty of fish as well. It was a little bit.
That's all of us.
A little bit off with my sets, but missed and caught plenty of fish on dries that weren't rising, just feeding them in likely spots. So we're going to talk a little bit about blueing olives this month.
Speaking of dry flies.
Yeah, speaking of dries, we're talking about bluing olives this month. So obviously streamers, hoppers, midges are all going to be good options, but the meat of the bug life this time of year, bluing olives. So we're going to talk through some nymphs, some emergers, some cripples, and some dry flies for the month of October. Let's get to it. All right, flies number 1 and 2 are Antonio's adult BWO and Antonio's emerger BWO. Both of these patterns are from Antonio Rodriguez, based here in the Front Range. He is really into, I think, quite an accomplished competition angler. I believe he's fished quite a bit overseas, and the adult variations come in odd sizes, which Brandon can speak to. That's a very much a European thing. That's the hook sizes you'll see typically in Europe. So obviously there's quite a bit of influence there. And then the emerger comes in even sizes. So the adult size is the 19 and the emerger size is an 18. These are very similar flies. They both have a little bit of an orange hot spot, but you are going to see a little bit of a longer shank, more traditional dry fly shank on that adult with a tail, and so it floats really high. It's super visible with that orange hot spot. So really good for picking off fish that are rising. And then if those fish are a little bit pickier and they're not eating as readily, throwing that emerger. It's not an emerger like you'd see with an RS2 where you're going to fish it as much subsurface. This is more like having the, it's sort of crusting through, it's breaking through that surface film. And so you're going to see that orange tuft sort of floating in that surface film, and the remainder of the body will be sort of sunken down. So these are really good for the pickier fish, especially later on in the season. Picking less like defined life cycle stages and more readily available, like things that are easier to pick off. So cripples and emergers. When you get into later in the season, they've seen a lot of artificial flies and they've sort of gotten into a good rhythm. An emerger is a really good option. So if you see fish rising, but they're being picky, throw the emerger on. If you're into a pod of them, like on the Arkansas during this time of year, you can run into huge pods of fish bank to bank. That adult BWO is a great option. So that's flies number 1 and 2. Fly number 3 is the Film Critic, the BWO edition, blue wing olive, BWOs before hose.
That's what they say.
Yeah, size 20. This is another emerger style pattern. Brandon, what do you like about the Film Critic?
I mean, you got to give it up to Bob Quigley, man. He designed a great fly that's lasted many years. It's a shop favorite for many of us here. You're going to see it on the water a lot, especially if you're fishing Cheeseman and Deckers, that whole area. I really like that it's tied on a scud-style hook. That scud-style hook, just like the emerger we talked about before, allows the hook to sit just below the water surface a tad on an angle, while still giving the angler really nice line of sight for that parachute that's on top.
For sure. As Brandon mentioned, it is a shop favorite. And you can fish it on flat water. You can fish it sort of through those riffly sections. Those mayflies, as they emerge, they can often get stuck. That's like the hardest part of their journey, right? Is like getting through that surface film, especially as a smaller bug. The hardest part of their journey is getting through that surface film. And so the Film Critic's a great option if you're looking for those pickier fish, but also opportunistic fish. Like
especially picky fish.
Yeah. They see something in the surface film, like, ooh, that's easy pickings. That's not flying away. Like a mayfly, like once it goes through the surface film, it will then have to sit. Like that's why you oftentimes you'll see duns like floating down the rivers. They have to sit on the water for X period of time. So I think for like blue wing olives, like at least 5 minutes. They're sitting on the surface of the water, and so if that one potentially could fly away, but emerging fly, it's not going anywhere anytime fast. So it's always a good option. So there we go. That's fly number 3. Let's get to fly number 4. All right, hope you guys are enjoying this episode of Five Flies. For the November edition of Five Flies, hopefully the studio will be all built out a little bit more, but we're gonna have a guest on. We're also gonna be encouraging some audience participation. So for this upcoming episode and the episodes going forward, please leave a comment down below. Let us know what you want us to talk about. If you have a question about fishing in November, whether it be presentation, fly choice, rigging, whatever it may be, leave that comment down below in the previous month's video. So for this month, for October, leave it for next month, for November. And whoever we pick, we might pick a couple depending on the questions. Whoever we pick will get a free Trout's hat and a little bit of swag from the swag bag. So appreciate you guys tuning into this episode. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of Five Flies for October. You guys see that one? It's in focus real good. That's what I thought. Looks great, doesn't it? Fly number 4, the Magic Fly in olive, size 20. This is like a modern day RS2. It's like an RS2 that goes to raves. Is that what kids do? Tell me what the kids do, 23-year-old
Brandon
Rodriguez.
The thing about this fly, I've been getting the question a lot is, do you believe in magic?
Oh, wow.
And with this one, I do.
Yeah.
This fly works, man. Like I know we talked about that the fly before. The Film Critic is a shop favorite, but I think that the Magic Fly has been an underrated fly here in the shop and across many other shops as well. It's one of those flies, like we've been talking about, it's an emerger, so it's not too much of something that it's not, and it's not too much of something that's supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's a very good in-between fly for those picky fish that are just trying to get a meal.
It can sort of look like it looks like a blue wing olive, but it can look like a midge.
Yeah.
It can sort of pass between. It looks buggy enough.
It looks buggy enough, and especially if you're rigging this fly up, for me personally, I would be running 6 or 7x tippet to this fly and keeping a really tight line.
I would not.
Why?
I hate 7x. I can't tie a knot. But I mean, that's to each their own, right? Like,
yeah, to each their own.
Like, it's all about confidence.
Yeah, I've definitely, I get a little skittish sometimes with tippet. I'm a little tippet shy, I will say.
Yeah.
I feel like are you guys tippet shy? I got a little hate for this when I came into the shop.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm a very much a 6 or 7x tippet guy historically.
Historically, I am not.
That's crazy.
I'm a 5 or 6 when I have to. If like flows are below 100 in deckers, I'll consider it.
I think I was just brought into the idea that you always have to fish like 5 or 6 here in Colorado. So that's like, I learned that and I never have gotten away from that.
Now,
and it's burned me a number of times.
There are much better anglers than me who agree with you though.
Yeah, and I'm definitely not one of those anglers for sure.
I mean, we haven't had a fish off officially, so we don't know that for sure.
Don't know.
But like Russ Miller loves 7X. But his compatriot Jake at Umpqua, he's like, dude, I don't know what Russ is doing. Fish 6X, fish 5X, man. Get a good drift. Yeah. I mean, Russ Miller can drift him, but I can't trust 6X. But back to the fly. So it looks a lot like an RS2. It does have a tungsten bead, so it will get down. You can fish this as your second or third fly, or your first or second fly if you're fishing a 2-fly rig, a second or third if you're fishing a 3-fly rig. So it's a really good pattern to throw if you're trying to sight nymph. It's a really good tailwater pattern. Certainly will get done on the freestones, but the profile, the construction, it screams tailwater bugs to me. I've had success with it on tailwaters. I haven't fished it confidently on freestones, but that doesn't mean it doesn't work on freestones. I would say though, gets the Yvonne seal of approval. Stamp it.
Done.
On the tailwaters, magic fly. That's fly number 4. Let's get to fly number 5. Fly number 5 is the micro mayfly. This is a great little dropper pattern. This is a great freestone pattern. Yeah. I actually was first exposed to this pattern several years ago, fishing the Missouri River. I was my good friends at Headhunters, and we used to we use it in the spring, but you can use it in the fall. This technique where you throw it underneath the hopper and you have short leash nymphing, and you like throw it like maybe 12 inches below, right? And so you're just trying to get down into little pockets.
Was the water pretty deep that you're fishing?
No. You're fishing riffles and stuff like that. So this is like, obviously you can do the short leaf nymphing stuff, but you can also do this way under an indicator. This can be a way to get down, like if you're fishing the Arkansas or the Colorado, have it as your second or third bug on a 3 nymph rig. I really like this fly. It has a bit of a chunkier thorax. What do you like about this fly?
I'm a big fan of weighted flies through and through. I like, mainly because, like I said earlier, I like to fish dry flies a lot, and I like to throw heavy nymphs underneath my dry flies. So it is still the tail end of hopper season, so don't be afraid, man, to throw a chubby Chernobyl or something like that, and then have this guy right underneath it. You can even do what Yvonne was talking about, that short leash nymphing, or you can run a little bit longer on like a 14-inch section tippet.
Or you can do what Zeke does and throw like a wild, like a 4 or 5, 6-foot dropper.
Oh.
It is a wild scene, but it works.
Dang.
Especially on the Colorado, like you get into some of those longer flat runs where those fish might be less active and they're holding down deep, fishing behind obstructions, but that you can see that current be affected for quite a bit of time. Like those little softer sections, it works. It works.
He's the man. He's the man for a reason.
When I saw him do it the first time, I was like, Zeke, what are we doing?
You see him reeling that tippet out, and you're like, when are you gonna stop?
Yeah. I was like, we're doing this, huh? You want me to cast that? He's like, yeah, Yvonne, you're gonna cast that. It's gonna be great. I was like, oh, okay.
You probably cast.
Turns out it was right.
Personal best.
Turns out he was right.
Damn.
Yeah. So, micro mayfly, fly number 5. Let's wrap this thing up. That wraps up 5 flies for October. Appreciate Brandon joining us here in this well-done studio.
It's pretty much finished, actually.
Right. Yeah.
I actually really like the accents of like the pencil marks on the wall.
Yeah.
It kind of brings the whole room together.
Right. It's It's like abstract art.
It is, and we kind of got the whole like one light thing on here, and I thought Yvonne was bringing me in to interrogate me.
One fern there. I think would be good. Yeah, I am interrogating you later. Later on we're gonna have some conversations about recent blogs.
That is true. Recent blog posts.
What your choices in apostrophes and stuff?
Yes, apostrophes, commas are a big one. I'm sure you guys can eviscerate me those in the comments. It's always appreciated.
Yeah, we're gonna just link every blog Brandon's done. You guys can, in the comments, just like say, hey, line 38.
Yep.
Sentence
Blog
2.
5.
Yeah.
Honestly, I will even give you guys my phone number so you can text me directly your comments. 555 flies.
Yeah. There we go. Oh, that's good.
Troutsflyfishing.com.
All right. So appreciate you guys tuning in. Obviously, as I mentioned, Five Flies will be changing a little bit over the next couple months. Hopefully next month, the studio will be done and we'll sort of get into the new format where it's going to be a little bit more longer form. We'll still talk about the Five Flies, but we're going to have guests come by or phone in. We're going to do some audience questions. I'm going to put this out right now. Drop some comments down below for questions you have about November Five Flies or how to fish in November. Whether it be rigging, fly choice, water type, anything that you feel is pertinent to fishing in November, drop a comment down below. We will choose one or a couple comments to address with between ourselves and then also our guest, and throw a little prize pack in there. We'll throw a little, maybe a hat, some cool stuff from the swag bag. So drop the comment down below. Obviously, like, subscribe, do all that stuff. Always helps the channel. So looking forward to seeing you guys in the next episode of Five Flies. And stay tuned to the YouTube channel, to the blog for all the new stuff. So until next time.
Peace on the streets.
Nope. Cheer, bye. Something about dry fly purists that I think is stupid. The always upstream thing. I think that's dumb. Downstream, there's a section in Deckers where I love just walking downstream and fishing, like throwing reach casts and just letting it drift downstream, walking it down, like walking the dog down. That's a good time. It's a good time. Like they're just sitting like in the super shallow water.
Are you talking about like swinging it down and then you pick it up and walk a couple feet and toss it?
No, like I'm not left-handed, so I don't cast like a weirdo, but like casting, reaching, and then like throwing some slack in and letting it drift down, and sort of walking it down and then picking it back up. Because like fish will just sit in these little shallow sections, right, when the light gets a little bit low, because they'll be picking off. Usually you'll see blue and olives in, but like they'll just be picking off little dries, and you just get that fly in front of them first. Sometimes the set's a little hard, but you can wreck them that way.
Huh? That's good to know.
Yes. I mean, you
That's
obviously
a hot tip.
You obviously can't do it on like big water, but smaller, small water, but big water, like if you get a good spot where you can wade down the middle, it's almost like being in your little drift boat.